Namastuभ्यं Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhe Bhavatu Me Sada Vasudevam Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Hari Om Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Namaste. Yes, can someone recollect? Can inform the link so we move ahead? Yes, please. Yes, please. Anybody? No, Tej.
And in this chapter, Krishna is talking about the divine nature and demonic nature.
Okay.
And divine nature is with absolute fearlessness, perfect purity of mind, engaging in yoga or meditation, and knowledge with dedication, self-control, and selfless sacrifice, study of Vedas, etc. And demonic nature is egoism, ahangar, anger, harshness, and ignorance are the properties of demonic nature.
Ji, ji. Yes,
And
please.
in this world, everybody falls into these two categories.
One of the two categories.
Yeah, one of the two categories.
If we are looking at Duryodhana, what kind of Swabhava will we call it? Devi
Demonic,
or Asuri? Yes,
Asuri,
Asuri
Asuri,
Swabhava, isn't
Asuri.
it? And it's a very nice thing, in Sanskrit, the difference between Sur and Asur is just
Yes,
one small alphabet, isn't it? Sura is that is in tune. Asur is that which is now gone out of the tune of the divine with the arrogance. One is trying to connect with the supreme I. The other one is satisfied with a small eye of ignorance, of arrogance. So, with this, all right, let us just continue. If we are to look at shlokas 1 to 4, they are giving us the entire, what we can say, ratna of
divine.
swabhavas, divine qualities that we can cultivate. If some of us have some of them, it's wonderful. If we don't have, it's easily cultivable. We can cultivate divine traits. Absence of fault finding. How easy is that? It's actually very simple. Maybe we just when we get the urge to find fault in somebody, we can just think of the shloka and Shri Krishna Arpanam. I'm not going to find fault for one moment or 2 moments. Slowly, because unless somebody asks us, we shouldn't go and keep pointing out. It may not help us. That is something. Then I think Pallaviji asked a very good question. Do we watch injustice? Do we watch that is wrong? No, it's not. It's our duty is to always stand by what is true. But how many times is it necessary? Many times we talk more than we need, isn't it? That can be curtailed. So as we saw different type of natures, Krishna said to Arjuna, "Don't worry, Arjuna." When Krishna started speaking about arrogance, Arjuna had a slight guilt, maybe because was I arrogant? Was I having the Asuri Subhava? He said, Arjuna, don't worry. You have the good nature in you. But now I will tell you what is the Asuri Subhava. It started with first, they don't know what is right and wrong action only. It's like if a doctor has a thermometer which is not showing correctly, what will the doctor do with the thermometer? Will he say, I have sentimental value with this thermometer, so I'll continue using it for taking temperatures of my patients? No, isn't it? He cannot deal with it. He'll have to just leave it and go with one more. It is as simple as that. You cannot trust, you cannot deal with individuals who are not following the truth, not in their essence, not in their actions, not in their deeds. Many times we can understand people's what they are doing by their deeds only, no? People speak with very good flowery words, as Krishna has also told, Pushpitam Vacham. Flowery words. People even quote Vedas, people quote Upanishads very beautifully. But when we look at karmas, when we look at actions, we can understand people are not their words, people are their deeds. So here we have Asuri Sabhava, even in their deeds, they do not know what is right They are unaware. They ridicule the path of selflessness. They ridicule and mock all sacrifices. And they are not faithful. So it cannot be trusted. That is one thing Krishna has told. Just as we saw a moment ago, that when we can see that people are not in their deeds also, maybe words may be different, but in deeds you cannot trust somebody because of the deeds that they do. You find they are not grounded in truth. Should we continue wasting our efforts? No, isn't it? It is as simple as that. So that is one thing. And now Krishna is talking about how the entire arrogance corrupts and pollutes his soul. It starts with this, the question of an atheist only. It's fine. It's not wrong to be atheistic, and Krishna is nothing, is not saying anything against it. But when you are jubilantly proclaiming the absence of God, you're getting a perverse ananda and dismissing the shraddha of somebody else. That is what we can say should set your own alarm bell ringing if you are mocking somebody else's faith and getting a joy in that. It starts from that. Yes, Shashiji. Yes, please.
Uh, what you just said, that when people ridicule your faith in
Yeah,
something, your
yeah,
spirituality,
yeah,
uh, like they're sweet on your face, and then
yeah.
they're saying
Right. Yes.
it's basically, as I understand it, no matter who it is, you keep your
Yeah.
distance from them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If,
It could be your
if
closest family member. It could be somebody whom you
yes,
consider extremely close. But now, when they are not
yeah,
following, just
yeah,
for example, hypothetically, I'm saying, just even my own mother, for example, if she is saying
yeah,
something which is not grounded in truth, which is
yes,
grounded in falsehood, should I
yes,
trust? Because no, she has given me life. No, the truth is truth,
no,
isn't it? I have to. I have to. I cannot, because what will happen if I trust?
mm.
If that individual is under the force of wrong forces, I will also be carried away, isn't it?
Yes,
I will be
absolutely.
taken.
So
Yes, yes, yes.
emotions don't come into it. Right is right
Yes.
and wrong is
Yeah,
wrong, and
it's not a
you
matter of
draw the
emotions
line.
at all. That is why a
That
person is, yeah, yeah. Means
that is
even,
the truth then.
yes, 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 that is the truth. Even if I am talking something about Vairagya, I am writing the most beautiful poem about Vairagya. Does
Mm.
that mean I have attained Vairagya?
No,
No,
no.
No,
but
isn't
you got
it?
the
It's
right
not a,
sentiments at least.
yeah, I could write sentiments, or maybe if I have experience, but how will you identify? If you see Vairagya in the actions, then you will
Mm.
understand Vairagya in the deed, isn't it? Otherwise, these are
Yes,
what we call lip service to God. Many people are
yes,
close to the temple and yet away from the God. Why temple? You say
yes,
close to the church also, close to the mosque also, and yet completely
yeah,
away. That is
yes,
the principle. The truth is not there, not grounded in. That is why I think in the ashram, Shervinda ashram, there's a beautiful uh, quote of the mother, isn't it? Cling to the truth. Anybody goes
yeah,
for the samadhi or any after the
yeah,
samadhi, when they get the chance to move to the rooms, that time they are able to see that. Cling to the truth. Somebody is not clinging, well, you can't deal with individuals like that.
yeah, yeah.
Gita does not
Okay.
ask you to eliminate people from your life, but Gita
No.
asks you to be sharp enough and not get carried away from by falsehood. Yes,
Yes, but then the action is individuals. If they want to be away from that,
yeah, from the
not
truth.
mix to,
Yes, if my own family member choose to be away
yeah,
from the truth,
yeah,
there's nothing I
yeah.
can do to make that
No,
individual come
no,
to the
that's
truth.
their choice.
It's their
That's their
choice,
choice.
and I can't deviate from my path because of moha, isn't
Yeah,
it? That is
thank you. Yes,
important.
that's exactly what
Yeah,
I
okay,
wanted
Ji.
to understand.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. Yes, sir. Rahulji is adding something.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
When we come on the path and we are following a spiritual path in life,
Hmm.
still the world, these people, there can be our relatives, people staying in our own homes or even in
Okay.
our workplaces where we have to do a lot of interaction.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Uh, Now, once you understand that, and some of them are displaying these demonic qualities that
Yes,
are
sir.
mentioned here.
Yeah.
So, what is Bhagwan telling us? How do we deal with them? Do you ignore
No,
them? Do
no.
you
Now you have your
upar upar se you
Kshetra.
deal
You
with
have
them?
a, yes, sir. You have your duty towards your Kshetra, isn't it? Say your workplace. We look at this one example scenario. In workplace, I have an untrustworthy colleague. Am I the manager providing the job to that individual, to that colleague? If you are responsible for the organization and you are the one giving the job, then you have the authority to remove, not because you find that person good or bad, because it's bad for the organization. But if you are not in a position to do that, what will you do, Rahulji?
What I have started doing is, if I
Hmm?
can just practice upeksha and ignore where I don't have to deal, if I
Yeah,
have
you
to,
one that is good. That's keep your distance. You can draw the line, and when you
the
interact, you cannot completely boycott that individual, isn't it?
the second one is that upar se you play the natak, like they play the natak, you play the natak, you do everything upar se, but inside it doesn't touch you. Then you play the game, you do all the greetings, everything, very
Yeah.
civil behavior. But
Okay.
inside, then you are, also keeping a very sane space, because at the end of the day, they are not going to change.
Yeah.
And you're not here to change people. At it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like Krishna says, Dyutam chalayatam asmi, isn't it? When
What's
people
that?
are Dyutam, Krishna told in the Vibhuti Darshana, he
Ah.
says, Dyutam chalayatam asmi. I am the cunning in the gambler's deception.
Hmm.
But this aspect, we have to be careful. When I am putting on a show, I better not get carried away in that show.
Hmm.
If I don't go astray. Simplest is simpler words. We'll see later actually. Vak tapasya is there, sir, in the later part of the Gita.
Ah.
What is the means our speech, no? How
Hmm.
much of it? Because how much of it do we? Because there's a risk, no? When we act, sometimes in the acting, like there was one thief who pretended to run away from the king's men who were going to arrest him. He pretended to be a sadhu.
Hmm.
And he kept pretending because people were they were roaming around continuously. People came asked for advice, but in that acting, this person became a real sadhu.
Okay.
So it should not happen the opposite way. In our acting, we don't
Uh,
become like reaction opposite of what we are. That must
Hmm.
be our essence should not get corrupted. That is why
Yeah.
what we can ensure. If you see the Shloka 7 says there is no faithfulness in their dealings. You understand that much. If he has told something, with some you don't have to take it with as a Brahma Vakya. Take
Hmm.
it with a pinch of salt and pinch of pepper. You
Hmm.
be ready for contingency plan must be ready. Even if you get feedback from there, your work must not suffer. That is
Correct.
something we can ensure, and we will never be take like broken hearted.
Hmm.
Because we have an expectation at work, and that expectation is not for selfish reasons, it is for the work to move ahead. But then there are people, your own colleagues, who are becoming bottlenecks, or they are only like this happens, isn't it, sir? Bottlenecks in workplace.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
project goes to one person, this person sit on it for God knows 1 week, 2 week, 3 weeks, and the project will not go ahead, and you are answerable. In such a situation, you will have to learn to bypass that. And you be sharp enough to ensure that you have sent an email, sent a reminder, have some evidence, because this person is going to take it against you. You be ready on your side. That is all we can do. And ultimately, there is something called karma, no? That will come back to all wrongdoers. We don't have to try to add anything from our side. We just have to move ahead. Is that okay, sir?
Yes. Absolutely fine.
All right, sir. Let's continue. So it starts, Krishna says that nature starts when person is even in the matters of God or spirituality, when it's all right to will not believe or believe, but there's not much of a difference in believing and unbelieving. In your actions, it does. But when you are taking a perverted sense of joy in dismissing somebody else's belief, that is where the problem starts. And when there is no God in the world, there is no higher ideal in the world. Can you see truth in the world then? Why will you hold on to truth? Truth also is not there. The world is full of falsehood. Everything is just a mithya. And the origin of the world also, everything is just a chance. There is no meaning. I don't see any reason for existence. It is just for one simple reason. It is because I am a human being. I am run with desires. I have to fulfill the desires. It was very surprising for me. An alumni of my own school, he became a doctor in a very prestigious institute in my city. That is a source of pride. The school also advertised his, becoming a doctor. And then he was the one who got trapped for drugs. He was illegally procuring drugs, recreational drugs, and he was trying to purchase from somebody else. Look at what has happened. Principles gone, higher truth and fundamental and ideal is all gone. What is I am doing everything? I'm treating patients to fulfill my desires only, but my desires are not getting fulfilled, so I will go to something else. And he chose the alternate route and he got caught in doing this. That is how people get trapped in so many scams, so many wrong actions. It is just Asuri Swabhava only, the greed which is there inside. So these individuals are driven by falsehood. Life is also polluted, their vision is polluted, and they deceive their own soul. They make a mockery. They think they are making a mockery of others, but they're actually making a mockery of the divinity within them. They deceive their own souls, they spread violence, they spread injury, they cause chaos and destruction only. The example of a young woman who, for a plate of biryani, got arrested because she set a bus on fire because she was promised one plate of biryani. How cheap is that? How cheap is that? And a soul has sold, the individual has sold a soul, forgetting that the individual had a family. The individual, if the individual is caught, what is the future life? Nothing is visible in front of one plate. How can somebody have such a craving for food only? That too so temporary. But that is the power of the Asuri Swabhava, which is driven by desires. Krishna goes on. That is the problem of karma or lust, which enters inside, it keeps on growing and amplifying till the point that it is like a fire which is going to burn the entire, estate only, something like that. Kamamashritya dushpuram dambhamana madanvitaha mohat grahitvat sat grahan pravartante shuchivrataha. With arrogance and a lust that is never quenched, their devious minds in egos are drenched. A philosophy of ignorance fuels their desires, and to grab power, their mind incessantly conspires. So Krishna says, with arrogance and a lust that is never quenched, their devious minds in egos are drenched. A philosophy of ignorance fuels their desires, and to grab power, their mind incessantly conspires. So both arrogance also does not stop. Somebody will feel as sometimes people who have a sane sense of inner conscience, they will feel there should be a limit. No, if I want to do a little bit mistake also, I cannot cross this. But somebody who has got driven by arrogance, there is no limit. The person, if a little arrogant person will start becoming more arrogant until that arrogance is checked by nature or by the guru or by karma ultimately. So, number one, arrogance and a lust that is never quenched. The devious minds are in egos drenched. Everything, the mind is always calculating. If I say one greeting, if I say something to somebody, if I ask something also, I need to know what am I going to get in return. Continuously, my name should go ahead. My idea should move forward. My touch should be there. If somebody gives some artwork also, they will probably take a paintbrush and add in one corner a little bit color and then try to display that I made this painting. Something like that. Continuously, the minds are plotting and continuously devilish ploys of gaining credit for everything. It's like the creator of a project will be told by that person that I created it. They will just try to, pass it off as their own works. Some kind of thing. A philosophy of ignorance fuels their desires. And this ignorance will continuously lead to more and more desires. I mean, there will be no satisfaction. This is one important aspect we must understand. If we think that we can appease an Asuri Swabhava by fulfilling the desires, it is the biggest mistake. Asuri Swabhava can never be fulfilled. If there is arrogance, yes, Maji is saying something?
No, by desire, it can never be fulfilled,
Yes,
So it's
yes,
about-
yes, yes, absolutely. It is like sometimes people out of, good nature or something, they offer something, at least please, here, take this, now you keep quiet. This you cannot say to that Asura. So he's like Bakasura only, want to consume more and more, again and again, more and more, and never is going to get fulfilled at all. And what does that every step or every action is? To grab power, their mind incessantly conspires. That is the nature of the mind, to grab more and more power. How much will I my foothold? If I'm in an organization, I need to get more control over it. If I'm in a meeting with people, I want to establish my dominance, my supremacy. I mean, sometimes it becomes very childish for somebody who is very experienced or who has got a life experience. They understand you cannot hold on to power forever, isn't it?
Hmm.
When you recognize the power is divine, no man can even try to hold. Imagine some individual says, I want to hold the power of Ma Kali. Will it be possible for an individual?
No,
It's like
you need that
it's like a
strength.
balloon will burst, no, if you put too much air
Yeah.
into it. It is something like that. The human capacities are limited, but here it is this continuous lust, and the mind is always calculating to grab power. What happens with that? With great greed for power comes, because they say with great power comes great responsibility, but with greed for power comes, what comes with that? Free gift, complimentary gift with great greed for power.
Slippery slope down.
Slippery, yeah, great headaches, isn't it?
Yeah.
Great headaches, great troubles come along with that. That greed is a problem which does not allow the mind to be peaceful at all. Peace of mind is gone completely. Then no amount of tablets will allow that person's mind to get peaceful until they remove that source. That is why many psychotherapists also try to make their patients first come to understand that I was running after the power and that is wrong. I need to stop running after it. Until that is told or until that is realized, all the others would be temporary measures for solving. So here it is. Chintam, it says, Chintama parimeyancha pralayantam upashritaha kamopabhoga parama etavat iti nishchitaha. Believing astutely in the pseudo bliss of unconsciousness. Enjoyment and desire is their only source of happiness. They are incessantly plagued by worries indefinite. Until their ends, they are consumed by thoughts infinite. So, this is the sad ending of such individuals, is what Krishna says. Believing astutely in the pseudo bliss of unconsciousness, they are happy in their arrogance, they are happy in their ignorance. They say, this is only my ananda. Why? Because, see, I am getting to taste my desires. I'm getting to enjoy everything. So, this enjoyment of pleasures or sense bound pleasures is only my true happiness. What makes an arrogant person happy?
Material things,
Yes,
power.
yes, power. You are great. You are greatest in the history of greatness, and all these kind of dialogues you give into arrogant individual. Right now, everybody is in the world is facing the consequences of an individual without not naming anybody. But I think everybody knows that. Well, what happens there? That only that gives happiness. The more people praise, people must give medals, people must give something or the other, and then see, I am so great. Mirror, mirror on the wall, I am the greatest of all. That is exactly what happens to people with arrogance. And they're happy in that state of mind. It is pseudo bliss. It is not the ananda of the yogis. It is not the ananda of the awakened rishis. It is a pseudo bliss. It's a temporary happiness. But then what happens to some same individuals? They are incessantly plagued by worries indefinite. Until their ends, they are consumed by thoughts infinite. There means what happens is somebody who wants to hold on to power will keep trying to hold on to power and more power, and in that process, what calculations are done, isn't it, in the head? Always, continuously, they lead to continuous worries. And till their ends, they are consumed by infinite thoughts. Such individuals cannot sit alone for a few minutes. Sometimes just sitting in a quiet room in the dark without talking to anybody. Well, a sadhak can do that. A sadhak will experience the Chaitanya of Shiva only. The Shanti of Shiva will descend into that individual if the individual is able to sit quietly and focus on the divine. But not a person with arrogance. The person like these people, they try to surround themselves in what we call create echo chambers, where people will just repeat and reinforce your own opinions. And this leads to a very bad death, is what Krishna is saying. Till their end, they'll have these worries of the thoughts. In some years ago, there was one very famous case of a gangster. If anybody remembers, Vikas Dubey. Maybe 2, 3 years ago, it was, I think, during one Gita where only one participant pointed out and told, see, the story is the same as this person. Because that individual was, Pankaj is aware? I'm unable to hear you, sir. It's on mute. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah, yeah. So bulldozer Baba, right? Because
Huh. Yeah. So, yeah, actually, it was so crazy that this individual was taking money from even the poorest of poor. The ration that was being provided to the poor people also, he had a share. He had properties across the world. And then when the police came, he even fired at the police. So many of them, he had his men shot. And yet he was so arrogant in his head that he felt nothing. The system will not do anything to me. And he contacted his lawyers. He planned in another state. He tried to escape, and he kind of found out how if I surrender in this particular court, I may get protection. All these thoughts he had, and he had made a full calculation in his head. But his audio before he was ultimately he died in an encounter. But his last audio was not that of a powerful and strong man. It was of a scared, a scared rat kind of situation where that individual's voice was like, I'm willing to escape, I'm willing to surrender. And you will not believe, like in the ancient times, we had the stories when the Asura falls. Flowers are from the heavens, people celebrate, the entire village celebrates. His death was celebrated by the poorest of poor in the village. People, passed and distributed sweets. How can look at this? Look at the terror he had. He had properties across the world. What are the use of all those properties after his death? And if he's not having that respect, very similar to where I am sitting, also just less than 200 meters, there was a property which was by a local individual who was again in a very known for his nefarious plans. He would make unions against industries and collect his commission and all of it. And he got hacked in one of his own lands only, and that was his end. But even after his end, his phone is continuously the police which had seized the phone. They were getting messages and notifications of lakhs of rupees getting deposited into his account after his death. What is the use of all of it? It is nothing. But this, the person in arrogance, who in the lust for quenching power, they do not understand. They only see this. So that is why Krishna has told in the next shloka, if you see the 12th one, Asha Pasha Shatair Badhaha Kama Krodha Parayanaha Ihante Kama Bhogartham Anyan Yenartha Sanchayan. By 100 bonds of desire, they are bound. Not one, not two, 100 bonds. For inside them, a rain of anger and lust is found. They only yearn for material wealth to accumulate. A mountain of possessions they seek to accumulate. They just seek to continuously grab, and their minds become peaceful only when they start accumulating material possessions. If shoes, this person will say, I don't want one pair or two pair of shoes. And a normal individual does not require more than that. This person says, no, I want at least 200 or 300. I will construct a building to keep my shoes. Or just an example, shoes, I just said that. Because I remembered a friend of mine who had 20 pairs. I'm sorry about that. But this aspect, this is again, he's not a Asur. I'm not trying to, label him for that. But it's not required at times. People go after position, and we're talking about like, there is no limit to that desire in an individual. It will never get fulfilled. It keeps going on and on. A mountain of positions they seek to emulate, but still the satisfaction is not there. Why? Because the next shloka says this is the state of mind of such individuals. Idam adya maya labdham imam prapsase manoratham idam asti idam api me bhavishyati punardhanam. They think today so much I have gained, but tomorrow so much more has to be obtained. So much wealth I possess with me now, but tomorrow I need to amass more somehow. Somehow, it's like by hook or crook, my wealth has to grow. By I have to make it happen. Because today I have so much, tomorrow it should become so much. Somebody will say it's important how will a businessman grow? But I think business also are run on ethics also, isn't it? There are a lot of examples of successful businessmen who are living by ethics, and these individuals have great. If the principles are strong, your organization will be forever standing strong. If that is not the case, so much wealth is there with me now, but still it is not enough. Tomorrow I have to amass more. Then what is their focus on the people who are against those accumulations, isn't it? They become their enemies. Whoever is working towards that, that is the aspect. Whoever is who is competing, I have so much wealth, that person has that much. How do I? It's not like I will try to make my line bigger. I'll try to make the neighbor's line smaller so that mine will look bigger. It is something like that. Asau maya hataha shatrur hanishe chaparanapi ishwaroham aham bhogi siddhoham balavan sukhi. This is the brilliance of the person who is driven by arrogance. That person starts seeing himself or herself as God. Ishwaroham. I am greater than God. If there's a religious figure, this person will say, I am greater than that religious figure. The religious figure who is doing several years of service is nothing compared to me. Siddhoham, I have the siddhis, I have all the achievements, all the accomplishments. Balavan Sukhi, I have the strength. And look at me, what do you have? You have nothing, I have everything. That is the entire attitude. And Asau Maya Hataha, Shatrur Hanishya Chaparanapi. I have eliminated one enemy. One enemy of mine I have thus exterminated. Soon I will have all of them annihilated. For I am the most supreme amongst men, powerful, enjoyer of desires, invincible and successful. How many of us have enemies in life?
All of us.
Everybody will have. All of us have.
We have enemies.
Not
Sure,
enemy.
internal and external.
Okay, internal enemies we can understand. Kama, Krodha, Mada, Moha, Matsar, all of these are the Shad Ripus, Krishna says. Or not Krishna in the Sanatana Dharma only. Or they say Alasasya Manushyanam Sharirastho Maharipu. Laziness is the biggest enemy for man. All of that can be understood. But in life, do we have enemies?
Of course we do.
We do.
Depends how you look at it.
Acha.
I'll
So
name
do we
one.
eliminate?
Sure. No, we
Do we?
can't eliminate some
We
of
can't
them.
eliminate. We
We
can
have to
eliminate.
put up with them.
We have to put up with them. So you are referring to individuals in your life, Shashiji, as your
Yeah.
enemies.
Certain departments, starting with the taxman, the
Okay.
local MP, the
Huh.
government, where would you like me to stop?
So they are your enemies there.
Well, they're not doing us
One,
that much good, so they're
that
the
is
enemy.
fine actually. Yeah, that is fine. Maybe we can try to
Yeah.
see Krishna in them. That is something we are also
Sure.
having.
Oh,
We
difficult
here
that.
we are in our unit also. We have to get so many approvals every year, and some of the approvals take very long time and so many visits because we really don't do certain non-standard requirements of theirs. We don't fulfill. But everywhere in every organization, what we have, my Guruji has told that let us try to see the good in the individual and try to aspire for that goodness to come out. And so far, so many times, somebody in that department, the entire department is not the
Sure.
enemy. One person might
No.
suddenly, randomly, and Not because I
Yeah.
have influence, not because I have. Most of the time when I go to the department, I have nothing, which can. They want only one thing, and I don't have that one thing to give them. But yet, somewhere somebody comes to help, and it is always some kind of
Yeah,
divine help is there. So anyway,
sure.
but the question was if we categorize like Krishna has told not to have hatred for somebody. That much we
Yeah.
don't have, isn't it, Ji? Our detractors, we can call them detractors, we can dislike them, but we don't hate them, no?
Yeah. No.
Yes.
No.
Because that will create a trouble inside of us. But even if this case is there, even if these people, do we focus on eliminating these people from our life?
No.
No.
We can't.
No. Never.
But
Never.
the Asuri Swabhava focuses on that. I have one enemy today, I will finish that enemy. If you look if that Asuri is a gangster, that gangster will try to kill that individual only, isn't it? But how many
Yeah.
gangsters have been successful so far in the history of whatever gangsters, whichever part of the world? How many of them have succeeded in killing all their enemies?
Your time will also come, sir, like
Yes.
Shishupal.
Yeah. Yes, isn't it? And you kill one enemy, you create more enemies because that enemy is going to have his chain of people and individuals, and that is how it happens ultimately. But this the arrogant person does not realize. He's just I have to capitulate power by hook or crook, and I will ensure whoever is opposing. I will not try to rise by my own strength. I'll try to crush the other person. It is something like that. And why? Because I am the blessed one, I am the chosen one, I am more divine than divine himself. I am more powerful, more successful. I know the ways of the world. The other people are all fools. That is the attitude of an Asuri Svabhava. That is what happens when like this success gets into the head. More than success, this arrogance is what gets into the head. And then they say knowledge, humility, all those factors leave that individual completely. आढ्यो विजानवानस्मि कोऽन्योऽस्ति सदृशं मया यक्षे दास्यामि मोदिष्य ityajnana vimohita. This is the moha. This is the kind of trap that people get lured into. I am wealthy and from a family of rich I hail. In comparison to me, everyone looks poor and pale. I perform sacrifice. I do so much charity. I am the real enjoyer. This is their narrow mentality. In that moha, the I becomes so much. If that person does a yajna, it is not yajna to whom. For him, it's yajna by whom. I am the doer of the yajna. God is not so important. There will be big posters of that individual doing the yajna and a corner small photo of the God whose yajna is being done. Yes, Rahulji is saying something? Yes, sir.
One question: is
Yes, sir.
this Rajasic qualities or are these Tamasic qualities?
A combination, isn't it, sir?
Hmm.
Rajas and Tamas, both of them.
Okay. Okay.
Pallavi wants to add something? Please unmute. We can't hear you.
What is the tamasic quality here?
Sorry, Ji?
What is the tamasic quality here?
What is the tamasic quality? In the arrogance, we see that greed, that desire, we can understand the force of rajas. Tamas is that moha which is causing that person to think in a very distorted manner. Tamas is illusion, isn't it? In that illusion, that individual thinks I am more greater than everybody. I am like you here. See, this is the one is the pride of being wealthy. I belong to this. That's a Rajasic thing. See, this is my family. This is my wealth. All of it. The position is there. But in that position, what accompanies then the tamasic behavior starts, isn't it? The individuals start discriminating, and then their buddhi starts going in a very wrong direction. Where Rajas allows you to go a little bit in the front and stops there. Here it will tamas will put a person first further into. So many families I have come across having as if they are all from the great. They are starting their own, Maurya dynasty or something like that. Even in today's day and age, people think they are starting big dynasties. And then in that their entire there's ignorance in their actions, They try to hold on to it. So it's a combination, is what we can say, Pallaviji. Is that okay? Right. So here
Sorry,
I am.
Sushruti.
Yes, ji. Yes, ji.
Apology. In this paragraph, then, where is the Rajas Guna in that?
I perform sacrifice. I do so much charity.
Okay.
See,
The charity and
so it's the initiative to do, the individual initiative is the
yes.
Rajas part. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. So I am wealthy. From a family of rich I hail. In comparison to me, everyone looks poor and pale. I perform sacrifice. I do so much charity. I am the real enjoyer. Thus is the narrow mentality. And Paviji wants to say something. Yes, please. Please unmute. There's some issue with the unmuting. Okay, fine. You could type if you want. Let's continue. Aneka chitta vibhranta mohajala samavritaha prasaktaha kama bhogeshu patanti narakeshu chau. Their minds, which are in many ways deluded, in cravings trap, they are ever confounded, ever restless by their endless desire. They ultimately end in lust's hellish fire. Means Naraka enters into their life. Sometimes your life can be brilliant if you just keep these things away. Sometimes the truth is in front of us, but we don't want to see it. It is just like that. What could be a beautiful, happy, blissful coexistence or a blissful life, suddenly life becomes Naraka because of all of these natures, the Asuri Swabhava only. When some person might be bringing a good inheritance of not necessarily wealth, inheritance of some kind of good atmosphere, everything. But yes, ji, prarabdhas,
Inheritance of character.
good characters, good prarabdha.
Yes,
But Asuri Swabhava comes and makes that person lose everything.
everything.
Everything is gone. Because the mind is now lost. It has got it's got an addiction of power, addiction of grabbing, addiction of, controlling, addiction of taking things. And that addiction is just consuming that individual completely. They are trapped. This Krishna said, no, Asha Pasha Shatair Baddha, 100 bonds. Just imagine a horse which can run freely is now being chained by hundreds of these bonds, hundreds of chains. What a struggle it is. It cannot move only. It is like that. That is the human soul, the Jivanatman, which is supposed to be free and experience a free experience of life, is getting trapped in this moha bandhanas. And there are hundreds of them. Ever restless. And in that restlessness, if anybody has the chance, has had the, I would not say chance, it's a misfortune of watching a addict from close, you will see how that individual behaves continuously. It is like a very disturbed tendency, restlessness inside of that individual. Sometimes the smallest portion of it you can see for those who have addiction to tea or coffee. Tea time, coffee time, you will just see irritation. They start shouting, or little bit irritation comes in because of the theobromine or caffeine, whatever slight addiction does come in. But these persons are, because of this Asuri Sabhava, they cannot be restless. You ask that individual to sit quietly for dhyana, they'll say, get lost. Don't ask me to do such a nonsense thing. Is that going to increase the money in my account? That's not going to. So I'm not going to do that. A friend of mine, yes, Pallavi, if you can unmute. Yes. Okay, yeah, great.
How it's written the chapter.
Sorry?
Rajasic and how we complete with the chapter on Rajasic and Tamasic.
We can't hear. The voice is static.
Today the speaker's guna is gone astray. I think we'll have to make it become sattvic, or you can just type Pallavi. Yes, please. So here they ultimately end in lust, hellish fire. The Naraka that Krishna talks about elsewhere also we have said that how the dwaras of Naraka have to be closed, otherwise We will see in this chapter also what is that Naraka Dwara. It is not like some kind of in Greek or this they have this underworld, isn't it? And there are gates to that underworld.
Yes.
He's not talking about some place like Tartarus or something like that. This Naraka is going to become clear. It is not another world. It is this world only which becomes Naraka for such individuals. Let's continue. Atma sambhavitaha stabdha dhanamana madanvitaha yajante nama yajnaiste dambhe navedhi purvakam. Even sacrifice they perform with narcissism, obsessed with wealth in a state of egotism. All their offerings are just namesake. As their vanity, they never forsake. Yes, Pallavi is asked. No, we have not completed. The qualities will come ahead. We will look at it. So here, even the sacrifice they perform with narcissism, the yajna which is done, that is also obsessed with the wealth and in a state of egotism. The offerings, whatever japa, whatever mantra, everything that is made, all of it is just namesake, like a lip service. Because in all of it, they forget the entire principle of a yajna. They're only vain. They're trying to show what, see, I have made such an elaborate offering. See, I'm offering so many things. See, God is going to get pleased because God is lucky I did this yajna. This is the attitude of such individuals. What can be done? It's like this principle of any yajna is agneya swaha agneya idan na mama. Na mama, not me, not me. I offer to the divine all that is wrong, also take that away from me, and I'm just offering with the dravyas are offered with the bhava, with the offering. But here it is just done like lip service. Basically, it is to show people, see how spiritual I am, or see how religious I am, see how much strength, how much wealth I have. See, I'm putting the best A2 ghee into this fire. God will be more pleased. He will give extra blessings because of the better quality. All these thoughts come into a person who is forgetting the essence of the sacrifice. They don't forsake their vanity even in the time when they have to bend and bow, because that aspect of bending and bowing is not something which comes to an arrogant person. Ahankaram, balam, darpam, kamam, krodham cha sansritaha mamatma paradeheshu pradvishanto abhyasuyakaha. With egoism in their strength, a bloated arrogance, and minds consumed by desire, anger, and ignorance. They deride the God that in all living beings resides, and also the God that within themselves presides. This is the what are they doing? Not just the apaman of the gods present inside other people when they ridicule others whom they believe as less fortunate or less powerful or weak individuals. They are also insulting the God within themselves, also the divinity which is there. They are ridiculing that also, forgetting and getting disconnected from it completely. The minds are always consumed with desire, anger, and ignorance. Where does this ego come from? Their personal arrogance and personal physical strength, which they have, or strength over control over people or money and all of it. Somebody who is the head of an organization, he suddenly starts feeling the strength of the organization is the individual strength, isn't it? And then the
It's
head is
power.
changed. Yes,
Yeah, it's just power
it's
because they
just
hold
power,
certain
borrowed
positions.
power, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
Friends of mine, we used to race when we were in school. 100 meters race, that is all fine. When we went to college, friends said, let's race on bike. Now, isn't that a very, now what is there in that? Whoever has the greater CC bike will be able to drive faster, isn't it? So then one of us discussed and he said, hey, this is racing on borrowed power. Real race is ought to be on foot. But you call all our friends also, when we become 90, if we are alive, will anybody challenge anybody for a race? No, because nobody is going to have that power. It's not going to stay, isn't it? But that arrogance comes from with the strength and power which we feel is ours. If you Follow the principle of the Upanishads, as Isha says, Ishavasya midam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat. All that is but his. All belongs to the Divine Supreme. Then that arrogance will not come. What is there to me, that is again belonging to the Divine. But that is what we see here in the Asuri Swabhava. So they ridicule the divine in others, they ridicule the divine in themselves also. Tanaham dvishitaha kruran sansareshu naradhaman shipamya shipamya sram ashubhan asureshve vayonishu. These beings to whom both good and God are detestable are the vilest of creatures, inhuman and despicable. These beings I send into the lowest wombs of earth. Repeatedly they suffer the pangs of a demonic birth. Krishna says, these beings who are getting disgusted by what is good and disgusted by what is God. They are the vilest of creatures, Krishna says. They receive the punishment for their karmas. It comes to them. And not just in the birth, sometimes they have to continue that. The next birth also it gets carried over. Krishna says, lowest of wombs, they suffer the pangs of demonic birth. Asurim yonimapanna mudha janmani janmani mama prapyaiva kaunteya tato yantya dhamangatim. Ever so deluded are those creatures that are consumed in their own selfish natures. For birth after birth they find me not, and they sink to the lowest of statures that can be got. This is the cycle, is what Krishna is talking about. That that delusion, they get consumed by the selfish natures, and birth after birth they do not find the divine at all, and they sink into the lowest stature. Now there's a question that comes to mind looking at this shloka. One side we learned, isn't it? Even Valya, the hunter, can become Rishi Valmiki. Nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitram na vidyate was a shloka where there's nothing more purer than the knowledge which can liberate. And there's no regression in human evolution. That is also something we saw, what we talked when we looked at Yoga Bhrashta in the previous chapters. So isn't this Krishna pushing somebody into a cycle again and again, further and further only?
Not really, because ultimately he always gives us a choice to come out of that hole.
That is the thing. So if I still have arrogance, say forget future lives, I have arrogance in this life only. I will get a situation where I'll have to choose what is right or my arrogance. If I choose arrogance, I'll get consequences, isn't it? Another moment may come to me in that life. Another moment may come. And at every moment, if I keep, why are these moments coming in our life? We must ask ourselves. These are coming for giving us a chance to make the right step, to course correct. But if I decide that this birth I am not going to course correct at all, he says, all right, go to the next birth. Next birth, you'll have the same challenges. And it's up sometimes people, birth after birth, why people don't find the divine? Because we don't understand, we are taking the wrong choices. Again and again it happens. Then it becomes an endless cycle. But always the choice is there, that once when we decide. And that choice is why being Krishna is trying to awaken. Yes, Pallaviji. You have put a message in the group. Okay. All right. How can they get better? No, the choice keeps coming, isn't it? As Shashiji just said, she actually answered it right when you were typing or after you typed the same question. The choice always, Shreyas and Prayas. Shreyas and Prayas will be kept in front of us. Let us not worry about others and just look at ourselves also. Many times in our life, we will be given moments to choose Shreyas or Prayas. Better pay package here or trueness to my ideals here. I may say I want better pay package. And then I've taken this route. Now, sometimes the entire life journey changes when you take that. So now that I have taken this direction. But again, in this direction, more pay, less ethics, or no, it's all right. I want to stand by ethics. Again, the choice will come. Again, it will come. It will come at different, till the point either we choose and course correct, or we ruin this life, and then we have to restart again. The game begins. That is why it is called the Maya Jal, no, of Sansara, where everybody gets trapped in it. So many moments. It's like we don't even realize when the moments come. We think we may be sitting and doing nothing significant, but no, in that moment of sitting at home and you are thinking about something, you have given root to an idea, and that idea is going to change your life's course. It can happen anytime. Any significant moment can change anything. Yogi is aware, and so just trace always. That's why they try to choose what is right, but not for somebody who is just run in the power is there, strength is there. Why should I worry? Tomorrow I will see. Like I remember one person who is a Krishna lover says, I will not listen to Krishna also if he asks me. I am going to do this. That was the confidence that I'm only doing correct. Now, then, when Krishna does something which is not, then that person is going to come face to face with reality, isn't it? Again, the individual can choose to face the reality, understand, and evolve, or get into further delusion. That is all, Pallaviji. And that is how hell comes into life, actually. Otherwise, life is blissful. Krishna says, Sri Aurobindo says, we are all meant to lead a life divine. We can be blissful. I may have 10 days of my life remaining, but I can live 10 beautiful days of my life in a state of bliss. But the choice is mine. That is the thing. So here, Krishna says the day opens there. I mean, the gates open. Trividham narakasyedam dvaram nashanam atmanaha kama krodhas tatha lobhas tasmadetat trayam tyajet. Threefold two are the gates of darkness and destruction that sentence a being into hell's damnation. Desire, rage, and lust are the accursed three. By renouncing them only can man be free. So I think we'll just probably cover a couple of shlokas if we can, depending on this aspect is very clear. Krishna says that there are three gates of hell. What are the three? Desire, kama, krodha, anger, rage, and lobha, lust. All three. These are the three. Now, if you have your building, no, like where I'm now in a factory, we have three gates here actually, interestingly. Can I leave one gate open? Can I leave one gate open and go to sleep at night tonight? My life will get ruined, isn't it? If somebody some thief enters or anything, I cannot leave that gate open. What should I do? I should close it. Well, that is how we have to check. Yesterday, my wife pointed out I did not close one gate. Luckily, Krishna saved, but I don't think I can always rely on that. I have to ensure that the gates are closed. Same way, we should understand in our life what are the gates that are open, which is the gate which is open at times, or which is the gate which is it through anger? Is it through my anger that Asuric force is entering inside of me? Is it through my karma? Is it through my desire that the Asuric forces are? Because Krishna will not function in me. Krishna is a very clever, if you call him Balakrishna, clever child. Or older one is called Ranchod. He will run away from the field whenever he wants if he sees things are not being met. And very quickly he escapes. So here it is which gate? If these three, these desire is there, rage is there, lust is there, Swarga is gone and Naraka is entering into your life. If you are feeling, why is my life like hell? Just check what is it, which gates have been left open. Is it desire? It is my rage. Pankaj is saying something. Yes, sir, and
Yeah,
I'll come
yeah.
to Rishiji next. Yes, please.
Yeah. So I want to know out of those five, why only three is mentioned here? Why not
Out
other
of,
two?
I mean, about the Shadrepo, is it?
No. So three like Kam, Krodh, Moh. Sorry, Kam, Krodh, Lobh. No,
Lobh.
Kam, Krodh, and
Lobha.
Lobh. Why not
Yeah.
Moh here? I mean, why
But
not like attachment?
maybe that is a different classification by somebody else. Krishna has given these three, but all
Only
three,
three.
but all three cause moha, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Means the Shadripus are Kama, Krodha, Mada, Moha, Matsar. Jealousy will come because of what? Because I have lot of desire again. No, Kama will lead to the others also. These three will lead to the others. If we
The
see
main.
Krishna's classification is these three only.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So that is causing hell to descend into life. Yes, Shashiji, you were asking something or sharing something?
I was just saying that in order to step out of all these lowering forces, one needs a little bit of sense maturity to know that there is something better. Otherwise, people can age at 50, 60, 70, 80. They can still continue with all the,
Yeah.
all the rage, desire,
Yes,
lust,
yes,
moha,
yes, yes,
whatever.
yes,
But
yes,
if
yes,
that sense of maturity doesn't come, if that
yes.
I is constantly there,
Yeah,
you can get it at a very young age or you can never
absolutely.
get it.
Absolutely. Yes, Ji. Yes, Ji. And that is why in Sanskrit there's a beautiful, I think it is in Kumara Sambhava that dharma vruddheshu vayaha na samikshate. Age is not a factor to be considered for those who are senior on the path of dharma. It could be age, physical age, because somebody may be living 20 years, or like Adi Shankaracharya at 12 years. He says Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Manobadhya Ahankar Chittanina. He's able to experience that. He's free from all of it. But somebody may have lived 70 years and still that person is, you can say, they say wine becomes finer with years, this person becomes crankier with years instead of it coming down lesser. Because that is moha, isn't it? That is the trap.
Yes.
And the individual has not, and that means the experiences also are not for growth, no? People close themselves up. Sometimes
Yes.
they create systems which will allow that anger to continue. People many times
Yes.
they show anger selectively at other people who are tolerating that anger,
Yes.
isn't it? So maybe the people who
Yes.
are tolerating should realize that no, it is now time to
Yes.
not tolerate to some extent because this is not going to change otherwise. But
Yes.
that is what people's lives become miserable because of it, as Shashiji has rightly pointed out. Let us be, we cannot understand other people's gates which are open or closed, but we can surely understand which gates are open inside of ours, inside of us.
Yes.
Was it my real aspiration or was it my desire? This is a heart knows. The heart knows if I'm running after something, oh, this was greed. Even when you're praying to the divine, no, you can ask for something, but I want this only, this only, this only, and more of this, more of this. That becomes greed. We are understanding that it's become lobha.
Yes.
So we know that. So we can try to close the gate, and each person must introspect and say, okay, oh, this gate is a little weak. I need to fortify it because even Bharat has to look at three quadrants, no? East, west, and then the south also, all the sides, whichever infiltration is cannot take place, no? Which side there is maximum chance of filtration? At least we are lucky because we have sea on the south. But on the top, north, east, and west, where there are land, that areas have, there are always chances of infiltration taking place. So there's greater deployment. So if I am prone to getting angry, let me become more ready at moments of anger when they come. Let anger not take over me. Let not any asura, let us think of who is working in me. I don't want to become an instrument of Ravana. I would rather be Rama's instrument, isn't it? It is something like that. We have to take a call. If it permits just the three shlokas, this chapter is complete and there's not too many concepts here. If we can just look at it. Etair vimuktaha kaunteya tamodvarais tribhirnaraha आचरत्यात् मनः श्रेयः ततो याति param gatim. O Arjuna, liberated from the doors of darkness is called the Tamodvara. These three are called the gates of
Three gates.
ignorance, of darkness. Liberated from the doors of darkness, man can attain a union in my oneness. You can be united with Krishna only if you close these gates forever. For then man can journey on his own alone, reaching the highest status of the soul, that is known. Krishna is talking about being able to journey alone, the one who is the companion of all. Sridhara, his name is there in the Vishnu Sahasranam, or in the name, his name Sridhara is Priya Sangame. For the beloved lover, you call Krishna as Sridhara, he will come. The one who is always companion, he's saying you will be able to journey alone. You will be able to journey on your own. What is this? Is he making suddenly everybody now break all your communications? What is the meaning of being able to journey on your own alone? You'll get the highest status, but
That question.
ready to journey alone. How can that be possible?
Once you pass through him, you've got everything there for you to carry on forward. Merge in him, and that's it.
You free yourself from all these three gates.
Okay,
Then
but
make your journey alone for salvation.
but what about my companion or my partner? I leave them alone.
No, you cannot leave
he's
them
there.
alone. You cannot leave. Carry her also with you.
Carry her with me. Okay, she's not heavy, so it's not that much of a problem. But literally in life, can I
Every soul
carry a
has its
spiritual?
own journey.
Yeah, that is the point.
Individual.
Nilitaji has said each individual is born alone and will die alone, isn't it?
Yes.
That is a truth which we cannot forget, and that is why Rabindranath Tagore Gurudev has told, "No, ekla chalo re." Be ready to walk alone on the path of the divine. You will have company, it will become a caravan. Don't worry, so many people will join. You will not be lonely. But be prepared. And only the yogi is able to understand the truth of being one with the divine. Everybody is secondary compared to that one divine, and you should be ready for that. For the sake of the divine, ready to walk. I should be able to ready to walk alone. My companion should be able to ready to walk alone. Only then can we reach the highest state. Otherwise, each will just hold on to each other and prevent each other from progressing. That is what attachments do. Instead, connect with the divine and be ready to move ahead. Krishna says, but ya shastra vidimutsrajya vartate kamakadataha na sasiddhim avapnoti na sukham na param gatim. But he who disregards these rules mandatory, that the golden scriptures deem necessary, follows his desires and reaches the sorry plight of imperfection and sorrow that comes in the absence of light. So here it's not a curse again. Krishna has made no curses on anybody. If you don't follow him, he says it's all right. It's your choice again. But he says somebody who doesn't follow this golden principle, this principle of vairagya, this principle of detachment, this principle of not getting carried away by your desires. Such a person runs after the desires and gets into a sorry plight, imperfection, sorrow, everything that comes in the absence of light. The soul gets destroyed by the consequences of the actions. That is what Krishna is saying here. One very famous journalist was there. He drank so much that he lost everything. He lost his job, then he lost his friends, he lost connection with his family. But he did not want to lose alcohol only, no matter what. Everything else he felt he could afford to lose. Then he didn't have money for buying the alcohol. Then he borrowed money from his maid only, asking for money to buy the alcohol, whom he has employed. What will happen to such an individual? He came on the streets, he was lying on the roads without anything. A well-known journalist of a national level. So this is what happens. Krishna says, this is your desires you follow. Forget these principles. You say, I want Asuri Swabhava. I am proud of my arrogance. I am proud of my Kama. I am proud of my Krodha. I am proud of my Lobha. Well, this is what will happen. That's why in the last shloka we see in this adhyaya, Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te Karya Karya Vyavasthitau Nyatva Shastra Vidhinoktam Karma Kartum Miharhasi. Therefore, Let the scriptures be your guide, and by their truths may you always abide. By understanding them, follow their declaration. In all works and actions, bring forth their emancipation. Bring forth your emancipation. I'll just repeat once more. Therefore, let the scriptures be your guide, and by their truths may you always abide. By understanding them, follow their declaration. In all works and actions, bring forth your emancipation. So Krishna says, that is why I'm telling, he's saying, I'm not asking you to reject any of the scriptures. A lot of people misunderstand Krishna's principles and they say he's against scriptures. He is not. But he's saying, let them be your guide and don't just read them. Understand their truths, understand the truth that is there, understand the essence of the truth that is there, not just understand it, bring it into practice. Because only when first is you get information, then that information translates into understanding. But only when you practice it does that understanding become a realization. So we have to go towards realization, is what Krishna is saying. If I parrot 100,000 verse, they will be of no use. No use if I don't practice even one of them. So he's saying, no, stand by the scriptures that you respect. The best way you can respect a scripture is not just by reading them, but it's by living them. And that's what Krishna is saying. Follow their declaration. And when you follow it in your life, in your works, in your action, you will bring an emancipation. You will grow as an individual. That's what Krishna says. With this, our Adhyay 16 is complete. We come to the penultimate Adhyay of the Gita. We will continue tomorrow. If anybody wants to ask or share something, you are welcome. If there are any queries, or we can just look at some of the takeaway points so we can go ahead. Anybody, what will you share as a takeaway for us take home today?
For me, it's 24, the last one.
Yeah.
It's the simplest, if you'll pardon the word.
No,
It is
it's
simple,
perfect.
yet
Yes,
not
Ji.
so simple, because the onus is on the individual. I've given you everything, I've shown you the road. You tread on it and learn as you go along. Apne aap ko sambhalo, basically.
Yes. Krishna cannot walk our life's path, isn't it?
No, he'll be there
He'll have-
to hold your hand if you should ask, though.
Yes. All right. Fine. Yes, yeah. Anjali ji is adding something.
No, my takeaway is also the same verse,
Okay.
the last one, the 24th one, which tells you to not just understand the scriptures, but to practice it
Yes.
so
Yeah.
that you are on the path of elevation or to the path that leads you to a higher stage.
Life will become Swarga, no?
Yes, definitely.
Yes, it will. Yes. All right. I think with this we conclude. If nobody wants to add anything, we
Yeah, we
conclude.
should avoid this desire, anger, and greed.
Yeah.
The triple gates, and one should avoid all this, and our soul should travel on the right path.
Yes, Maji. So Maji
Yeah,
has
that
given us a good reminder that these
yes,
three gates, and best to look at ourselves only. Oh, that's
yes.
okay. Shashi ji is adding something. Yes.
A quick question.
Okay.
These three
Gates.
gunas, can you
Gates.
use them for attaining Krishna?
Which the three gates?
No, yeah, in a nice way, because everything's got a positive and a
Positive is you
negative.
keep those gates closed, Krishna will sit inside. No,
Yes, but
that
what I
way
mean
we
is, one gets angry with God if you have the purity of the
no,
heart.
but that
You can,
anger can help into up to a level, not beyond that.
yes. But what I meant is, that everything has a plus and a minus side to it. Anger can be really demonic, or anger can be in a gentle way as well. It doesn't
But if
have
the
to have that.
but anger
Yes,
without love, it will not The
No,
gate of hell is
it
when
has
you
to
are
be with
bereft
love.
of love. And when there is love,
Yes.
anger is slowly dissipated.
Yes.
It
But it's the
disappears.
kind a mother has for a child. They get angry, but it's a softened anger. It's with love.
Yeah,
If you
that
get
is
my
for teaching.
meaning.
That is for teaching something, isn't it?
Yes.
But we are the
Yes.
child now, and we cannot be the mother of God.
No, he
And-
has to be the mother is what
yeah.
I'm
So we will
saying.
have to face that anger if we want the anger, and we can understand it to be a little bit of loving
Yes,
anger.
it's like saying, well, I was looking for you all this time.
Yeah,
Where were
yeah,
you?
yeah.
That form of anger. That's what
That
I
is
meant.
fine. Yes, Ji. Absolutely. But if we open these gates and give a free flow for all of this, then we are going to be in
No.
big trouble. Yes, Ji. All right.
Yes.
Yes, please. Let's conclude with the Shanti mantra. Hari Om.
Thank you.
Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. हरि ओम तत्सत्. कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं. नमस्कार. हरि ओम.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
हरि ओम जी.
Dhanyavad ji.
Hari Om.
Thank you.
धन्यवाद जी. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Bye.
Sushruti.
Namaskar.
Thank you,
Namaskar.
Sushruti.
Thank you, ji.
Thank you.
Hari Om,
Hari Om.
Sushruti. Thank
Hari Om, ji.
you. Good
Thank you,
night.
ji. Thank you.